Now to our next guest. Phil Hornsey is the chairman of the Urban Youth Action, which has done some wonderful work in the borough of Sutton recently. Phil, come and join us, please.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Phil. When and why did you first get involved with this charity?
When I first moved to the area to take up my job as Minister of Carshalton Beeches Baptist Church, someone in the church handed me a folder about a bunch of churches who were getting together to do a skate event in Royston Park back then. That was my first involvement with the charity.
Now, Phil, I can remember when the charity was called Sutton Ramp Events. Why the change to Urban Youth Action?
Sure, so relatively recently we changed name from Sutton Ramp Events, as you said, to Urban Youth Action because obviously Sutton was in the name before and we wanted to broaden our work to wider boroughs, so we thought that would give us more room to do that.
In your time with Urban Youth Action, how much has the organisation grown and how far can it continue to grow?
I think the first events attracted maybe 50 young people just for 1 week for a couple of hours in Royston Skate Park. And now we run events attracting maybe 150 to 200 people, including those participating and watching. And we do events in schools and a weekly event also down at the church in the car park. We work with the police and all kinds of things. And in terms of growth for the future, the long-term dream has always been to have a state-of-the-art skate park venue in the London Borough of Sutton.
Phil, why is it so important that Urban Youth Action ensure they're inspiring young people of all abilities in their social, physical and spiritual development and not just focusing on a specific group?
Well, we believe that the London Borough of Sutton is full of young people of all abilities and we want to reach out to as many as possible. We specifically work with disadvantaged and disengaged young people and that would obviously include people of all abilities. So we don't want just to focus on the ones who might go on to make a career out of skateboarding or scootering or BMXing, but to include everyone. And it's a great tool to be able to increase people's confidence in themselves and in their part to play in the community.
We found quite a nice line on your website which read, "Without bearings, our equipment doesn't work. Without your support, we can't help others." How tough have you found it in recent years to get the funding you need?
Well, sure, it's been more tricky with some of the cutbacks that have happened, particularly in the state level. But we have found that we've been able to increase our funding applications and we've been successful with some of those. A lot of the funders are really happy that we're not the usual kind of perhaps charities that maybe they give money to fairly regularly. It's quite a niche sort of market and reaches young people that perhaps other mainstream sports can't reach. So we're doing okay at the moment, but there's always room for more funding.
And finally, I was really pleased to hear that you're looking for an indoor venue. That's right, isn't it?
That's right, yeah. So the next kind of big step for us is to find an indoor venue, which is the hunt is on at the moment. So if anyone knows of any venues locally, then we'd be really interested to hear kind of large hall size venue to run a pilot project to see if we can prove that it would be really sustainable and a really kind of good business venture for funders to give us money in the future to make the dream come true.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Phil. Please do keep us up to date with everything that's going on with Urban Youth Action. And that's the end of our latest show of SVTV. We hope you've enjoyed it and don't forget to keep up to date with all the latest news, opinion and events from around Sutton at suttonvoice.co.uk.
You can also follow Sutton Voice on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you very much for joining us.